Welcome back, everybody, to our Midwestern Dynasty, where we just finished off a perfect season, going 16-0. It was truly a dominant year, with us only having 2 games out of the 16 be decided by one score. We blew out the majority of the teams that we faced this season, and have won back-to-back national championships here at Midwestern. Going over our stats on the season, starting with the offense, they put up 32.6 points per game, good enough for 9th best in college football. We were tied for 4th in third down conversion percentage, converting 50% of our third downs this season. I thought Jesse Ham made a second-year leap. He got up to 42 total touchdowns this season, 39 passing, 3 rushing. And the main reason why, or one of the big reasons why he had such a great year, was the play of our offensive line. Besides a few too many holding calls, I thought the O-line was elite all year long. Shout out to our wide receivers and tight ends that were very productive and reliable despite us being a run-first team. With us being a run-first team, we asked a lot of our running backs, and they did everything that we needed them to and more, I would say. The defense, it was first in points per game allowed, giving up just 13.3 points per game. We only gave up 256 total yards per game. We had 84 sacks in 16 games. That is 5.3 sacks per game. A really great number. The defensive line, they went off with 3 different guys getting over 15 total sacks this season. We had the Defensive Player of the Year and Best Defensive End Award winners on that defensive line. We also had the Best Linebacker and Best Defensive Back Award winners on our defense. It was really just a crazy season for our defense. Special teams, it was not great for Jason Hobbs, who struggled, making just 66% of his field goals this season. Seth Hearns was good. He had 39% of his punts down inside the 20. That is what we did this past season. Here is a look at how we have done through the first 6 years in this dynasty. The 2030 season will more than likely be our final season in this series, so this will probably be the final offseason that we get through in this series. Progressing on to players leaving, we have 14 graduating seniors who we went over in great detail at the end of our last episode. Just know that we are losing multiple key players on both sides of the ball. When it comes to draft results, we did have 4 players selected in the draft, 2 of them in the first round, and Addison Bynum and Kevin Campanaro. And in the 7th round, Devin Gentry and Thomas Mintz both went. I feel like we should have had about 4 more players selected in the draft. Jimmy French, Christian Garrett, Ethan Dugan, and Deontay Bland are 4 players that are all 85 plus overalls and had good statistical careers, but didn't end up getting drafted. The transfer portal is open, and there are 2 players that have me intrigued. First up is the 5'11", 230-pound linebacker Jordan Gee, who is a speed demon. He's got 99 speed and acceleration, good zone, he's a solid tackler, and we could use a player like that. We got to replace 2 starting linebackers. Ezra Sharp is a 6'4", 240-pound tight end who is a great athlete for his size. He is somebody that I think could make the move to wide receiver, and I would like to bring him onto the squad to see if that would be a good fit for him or not. National Signing Day is here, and let's go over every single player that we have brought in this recruiting class. Trey Roth, he is a well-rounded quarterback with some upside. He's got impact development. Accuracy is there for short and medium. He needs to work on the deep a little bit. Trevor LaRue is a running back out of Wisconsin who only has normal dev, and I think he's just going to be permanent depth on this squad. Eric Kajust, a fullback who has star dev, and is going to need some time to work on some things. Drayvon Westbrooks, a wide receiver out of Illinois who has star development, and I think he could be a superstar. He's got great route running, is a very good athlete already. Larry Hillenmeyer, only normal development, but he is 6'4" with 93 jumping, 93 acceleration, and 95 speed. So he's an athletic freak. Joseph Jackson, a tight end who is a great pass catcher, but clearly has to work on a lot of the blocking aspects of the tight end position. Ezra Sharp, he does end up coming here. He comes here from Auburn, where he spent his first 2 years of his college career. He's got star development, and he looks like he is a really good pass catcher for a tight end, but what about at wide receiver? We'll find out. DeMarco Dragos, a tackle out of Iowa, he's got star development and looks like he is going to be a great player. John Brown might have to make the move to left tackle. He's a great pass blocker. The run blocking, that needs a bit of improving. Tyree Winston, star development. He's a guard that could easily play right away if we needed him to, but I don't think we will need him to play right away. Trevor Cleveland is the first 5-star commit in Midwestern history. He has high-end talent and is going to have the opportunity to compete for a starting spot right away as a true freshman. He's going to have to win a battle in camp, though, against a guy like Lewis Creed, who is extremely talented in his own right and even has a better dev trait than Trevor Cleveland. Jeff Duckett has to work on that awareness at play rack. He would have no idea where he's out there on the field if he were to play as a true freshman, so he'll be redshirted. Jeff Hope, this guy has some excellent ratings and has elite development and is going to play right away as a true freshman. The question with him, though, is how much will he play as a true freshman? Lester Fogg is going to be buried on the depth chart, so he will not play as a true freshman, but he's got some talent. Jordan Gee, he is going to come here from Florida State, where he spent his first 3 years of his time in college football. He's a speed demon, like I said earlier, has elite development, and I'm excited to see what he could do out there on the field. Ariel Kush has some good ratings, 92 speed, 79 zone, 90 excel, and he's got some decent size to him. Enrique Sweet, extremely similar to Belvario Kush. I just think those two guys are going to need some time to cook, so they'll have to sit on the bench. Matthew Byam, he's got elite development, and I think he could actually play right away as a true freshman if we needed him to. Rico Shembo, I like the speed and man coverage. He feels like a guy that would fit in that big slot role and might actually be out there in some certain situations because of that. Taylor Keaton has a big leg, has impact development, and could sit as a true freshman behind, of course, Jason Hops, who will be a senior. We do not finish with a top 5 recruiting class, but a top 6 recruiting class. Yeah, that's right. We finished in 6th. That is the best recruiting class we've ever had in this dynasty. Still not good enough to crack the top 5, but that's not too bad considering we only had 21 total commits. Ezra Sharp, he is going to be making the move from tight end to wide receiver. I know his overall is going to be going down by 9 points. Still want him at wide receiver. Time to talk about transfers or encouraging transfers. I don't know why this is after the portal closes, but whatever. We have 7 guys that we have to tell to go play somewhere else. Cornerback Eric Square, quarterback Lane Harper, defensive end Jamichael Flint, running back Cesar Paredes, cornerback DeMarco Cooney, tight end Lamar Wooten, and defensive end Emmett Fiore. Now I know some of these guys are pretty good, to be honest. That is usually a sign of a good team, though, when you are cutting good players to make room for other good players. And yeah, unfortunately, these guys will have to go play somewhere else. But that is just the way things are in college football and in the sports world. You got a certain amount of players you could get on a roster, and those guys just didn't make the cut. Our year 7 roster is probably our best yet, at least on paper, that is. And we know the games are not played on paper unless you're simming games, which we have not done in this series. Let's start by talking about the quarterback position. We have our guy in Jesse Ham, who has led us to the top of the mountaintop in back-to-back seasons. But he did that with some veterans at wide receiver, like Dylan Washington, Nick Shields, Devin Gentry, among others. And we no longer have a veteran group of wide receivers, so Jesse Ham, how is he going to look in year number 3? Well, he has some inexperienced wide receivers out there. Dwayne Wilt will be quarterback 2 behind Jesse Ham once again. Speaking of wide receiver, Jaden Berry. He is the most talented wide receiver we have on the roster, and he's got the most experience of wide receivers on our roster, at least at the wide receiver position. Ezra Sharp, he played at tight end, but not at wide receiver. Jaden Berry will be wide receiver 1. He appears to be ready to step into that role. At wide receiver 2, we're going to tap Titus Dingle on the shoulder and give him the first shot at locking down that role. He's got the size, the speed, the route running, and even the run blocking ability, I think, to hold that role down and run with it. Behind those two, It's going to be a mix and match type of group, and maybe one of those guys ends up taking over for Titus Dingle if he ends up disappointing. We got Sam Genius, Jalen Hyde, Jason Burton, Ezra Sharp, and a couple of true freshmen that maybe sneak their way onto the field. At tight end, Marco Mines. He is the best pass catcher of the group, and I'm expecting him to have a similar role to what he had last season. He'll be the main guy that we look to throw the ball to at the tight end position. But he will not be tight end one technically. That will be Jamie Clinton, who improved his route running and looks a lot more crafty out there. I know he's not the fastest player and doesn't have the greatest hands, but he looks better at running routes and looks to be just better overall as a pass catcher. And he is an extremely great run blocker and is going to be tight end one on his team. I'm hopeful that he can just turn into an all-around great tight end. Carter Roche is an interesting player. We are moving him from center to tight end. He is 6'2", 292, has 92 speed, and is a great blocker. He's going to be our long snapper and our tight end 3, and might even play some fullback this season. At running back, we got Von Clifton and Earl Helm. They were an amazing 1-2 punch last season. They had to replace Avery Sizer and Darrell Leffen. They did it excellently. Now, with expectations being even bigger with this upcoming season for those two, how are they going to handle the pressure? Well, Von Clifton, he looks poised to have another massive season. How great of a season can he have, though? He's a 92 overall and is a true do-it-all running back. The guy behind him, Earl Helm, he's an explosive RB2, that's for sure. He was just a true freshman last season and made a big impact for us in a couple different ways as a pass catcher, as a runner, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do in year number 2 for us in this system. With us having those two, I don't expect the other running backs on our team to play very much outside of maybe Sammy Thrash, who is now a senior. He'll be our punt returner and be RB3. The offensive line will have a slight new look. We no longer have Addison Bynum, who started 4 years for us at left guard. We no longer have Christian Garrett, who is a multi-season starter for us at right guard. But we do have 3 returning starters from last year. At left tackle, we got Matt Davis, who could honestly start right now as a redshirt sophomore in the NFL. His ratings are insane. Quinton Smith has been doing more than just holding it down at center. He's now a redshirt senior. Should be good once again. Titus Hardman is going to be at right tackle, and my expectations for him are just to be as good as he has been. I think he's been fine over there. We are going to have George Handy start for us at right guard, so it'll be Handy and Hardman on the right side. A great name combo to have there. George Handy, I think he's got some good ratings. The run block finesse is not very good. That's the only thing that's not great about him. Cardarius Taggart will be at left guard. He's not the most mobile and doesn't have the best strength, but his actual blocking ratings are good. He has no true weakness there. So the starting offensive line should be great. Our backups are also great. I think this is the deepest offensive line we've ever had. I mean, we could go to our third stringers, and I would still feel pretty confident that our offensive line would win the battle up front more often than not. That was one of our goals at the beginning of this series. Make the offensive line the strength of the team, and I think we have finally gotten that job done. At defensive tackle, we got LaMichael Edmonds. We know that. He is the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Almost won the Heisman. He's a fantastic player, and he's going to be even better this season. At least I hope so. He'll be getting more snaps this season, that's for sure. Got to get him out there as much as we can while we still have him. And after him, it's going to be a rotation. We got Cortland Rahman, Trey Milliner, Paul Dahl, Davion Career. We got Broderick Duggar and Robert Thomas, who didn't play a ton last year, but will be in the rotation this year. At defensive end, Santiago Martino is all of a sudden the veteran of the group. How did that happen so quickly? It feels like just the other day. He was a true freshman and was trying to earn the right to play right away. Well, now here he is as a senior, and he's going to be asked to lead a young group of edge rushers, including a true freshman that will be starting opposite of him. And that would be the 5-star man out of Minnesota in Trevor Cleveland. That's right. He has shown enough to me in practice and training camp to be the starter opposite of Santiago Martino to begin the season. Now, that doesn't mean he will hold that spot the entire year. We have other options that could factor in and take his spot, like Glenn Bredesen, Anthony Bautista, John Hicks, maybe even Lewis Creed, a fellow true freshman. We could break his red shirt and he could steal a spot from Cleveland. At linebacker, we no longer have Thomas Mitz or Ethan Dugan, two guys who I felt like, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys would say the same thing, that they were huge for our defense, and maybe not the main reason, but a top 2 or 3 reason why our defense was so great last year. We no longer have them. Ahmad North, he's the highest overall on the team. I did not see that coming, but he is, and he's going to play a lot. He's earned the right to play a lot. Deion Gage, he was great for us last year in a smaller snap count type of role. Well, this year he'll have a bigger role, and I think he's going to be great. We can't forget about a guy like Tyreek Warrior, who has a lot of athleticism, is good in coverage, and can even get after the quarterback. He's a senior. He's going to play somewhat. Jordan Gee, we brought him in, the 99 speed, 99 acceleration linebacker. We're not just going to let him rot on the bench. He's going to rotate in as well. There's also Tyler Gooch, a talented redshirt freshman. He's somebody that might not be able to get out there because there are other options that will have to play in front of him. Paul Kraft, a senior, might not play very much. Jeff Hope, the elite dev, true freshman middle linebacker. He's going to be sitting there redshirted, but he'll play in at least 4 games, maybe even more, depending on what happens at linebacker. At cornerback, we have Gordon Sheed, who is a junior, and Shaquem Short, who is a senior. They have been starters for a few years now, and the expectations for them are sky high, to be honest. They're both great athletes and are good in man and zone coverage both, but are actually better in man than they are in zone. And I want to run more man coverage this year, not just because of those two, but mostly because of who cornerback 3 is going to be, and that is Keontae Speed. It was hard not to notice him out there in practice. It felt like he was always making some sort of positive impact on a play, whether it was fighting through multiple offensive linemen who are twice his size and making a play, or preventing a touchdown at the last second. And he's got great man coverage. He's got 92 man coverage, so he'll be cornerback 3. If we want to run more zone, we got options like Alexander Folk and Alex Blades, who are both solid options in zone coverage. At safety, George Nadi is the only one who has any sort of real experience and has any sort of statistical stats backing him. He's going to start, and he's going to be in the same role he was last year. At the other safety spot, Christian Coxey is going to be taking over for Deontay Bland, who graduated. And Coxey actually has a similar skill set to Deontay Bland. Coxey has 90 zone and 96 catching. He also has platinum house call. So I'm expecting a lot of interceptions out of him. Maybe not as many as Deontay Bland his senior season, but he should still be rock solid out there in coverage. Behind those two, we got a hodgepodge of guys who are going to rotate in, and we'll kind of figure out what we want to do with the backup spots as we go. Jason Ops, he struggled last year, making just 66% of his field goals. He had a big offseason. He now has 94 kick accuracy and 89 kick power. The question is, will that be enough to make him not suck this season? I hope so. Rafael Fernandez is going to be replacing Seth Hearns, who graduated. Fernandez was able to sit last year as a true freshman and be redshirted, and he didn't really develop a ton, but at least he got to sit and watch and knows what not to do and what to do. The redshirt list is a long one for now. We are redshirting 18 of the prospects that we brought in, 18 of the 21, but most of these guys will play at some point. They can all play in up to 4 games this season. We are ranked number 3 to begin the year, behind a couple of SEC schools in Georgia, who we just beat in the national championship, and LSU, who is at number 2. Speaking of LSU, they are on our schedule, along with Illinois and Texas. That is right, we will take on 3 preseason top 10 ranked teams in the nation in our first 3 games of the year. I want to hear your predictions and expectations for year number 7 of this dynasty, which, like I have mentioned multiple times, will very likely be the final year that we get through in this series. In our next episode, we'll take on Illinois for the first time ever in this dynasty. Looking forward to that matchup. We'll see if we can prove that we are Illinois' best. That's going to be all for this episode, though. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.